This is another New Black World Order TV Productions. Uh Chopper. Grand Rising family, what's happening? Today I want to talk about the Negroes' need to have a sense of urgency for self-defense. All right? We want to talk about when the Negro has tried to deal with a problem that is very, very repetitious. It's systematic. He has tried all of his political administrative remedies, right? He has tried everything from marching to singing to voting to protesting to lobbying, etc. But he has not tried self-defense. The world knows, and if they did not know, we know they know now after seeing what has taken place here recently in the United States of America. And the world knows that the so-called Negro needs a solution, and his solution is self-defense, right? He has a right, a universal right that is recognized by the world courts or the world community of United Nations in their declarations that he has a right to self-defense. So the so-called leadership of the Negro in America, the Uncle Tom, the bootlicking, apologists, Negroes for white supremacy, they tell the Negro that if he take up arms against his killers, against his oppressors, against his colonizers, that the odds are against him. That he does not have a supply line. He does not have enough trained men to do etc., in order to push back the knee off of his neck that's on his neck politically, socially, and economically, and is definitely on the neck of his pursuit of happiness to live a life on this earth like everyone else. So the bootlicking Negroes tell him that the odds are is that he will be destroyed. That he couldn't possibly defend himself against a modern American army. This is what the bootlicking Negro leadership tells us. The clergy class, etc., etc. And even some so-called common sense guys will tell us that. But that made sense yesterday. It doesn't make sense today. And so, let's get into it. The so-called American Negro has fought in every war that America has had or is engaged in. Whether the cause of the war was good, bad, or indifferent. And the odds are that that same bootlicking Negro leadership endorsed the sons and daughters from his own community to fight in such wars and endeavors of this imperialistic colonial masters. And the odds was against them too. Many of them came back in body bags from Korea, from Vietnam, from Afghanistan, from Iraq, etc., etc. The odds were against them then, but none of these Negroes stood in front of the recruitment station and told Negroes that the odds are that they were going to die. But yet they consented that self-defense for this American society that we today are condemning as being rotten to the core with systematic racism and police brutality. in violation of human rights. But they co-sign them fighting for their oppressors. But yet they keep telling us that the odds are against us. But when we ask that same trained force of military Negroes to stand up and protect us in America against what we all should know by today, that it has been a government of dictatorship, a government of no rights for humans, but yet they supported it. But the odds are against us. But they didn't care about the odds then, but the odds seem to make sense now. So this is the year of the ballot or the bullet. What are the odds that you will get free by the ballot? And what are the odds that you can get free by the bullet? All righty. Can you get free by the bullet? In 1776, America didn't care about the odds of death. And none of her battles did she care about the odds of death. Why? Because she knows she had a supply of Negroes that would die for her self-defense. But they had to come back to a society that couldn't defend them against what we all know is Nazi Ku Klux Klan members who not only were signing applications to get in the police force, matter of fact, these same racist bastards created the police force. We all know this, patty trollers who patrolled the slave plantations and gave us the same rundown. What's your ID? Do you have a pass? Where you going? What are you doing on this road? Same thing they tell us today, what you doing in this neighborhood. And if you resisted then, you died. And if you resisted now, you die. And you got the same group of Negroes co-signing the odds. But they always want to make the odds relevant when we seek to have self-defense for ourselves. The odds are that if we defend ourselves, we will get free.